Hi there, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Luke Hasty here from Nuaware. This is one of a few little videos that we've done now over lockdown, titled "Interview with the CTO." Um, I'm here with a good colleague and friend of mine, actually, someone I've worked with for a good number of years, actually, going back all the way to our automation days at Puppet. John Boero, who is a solution engineer and architect that we work with closely at HashiCorp. John, thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully you don't mind giving a bit of an insight into what your role is, what you're doing, and what HashiCorp's doing at the moment.
No, I love it. Thanks for having me. Excellent.
Perfect. So, John, HashiCorp, we hear a lot about the cloud operating model. Um, what exactly is that?
Sure,
What does it mean to HashiCorp?
sure. So HashiCorp has, so to speak, our layer cake and our cloud operating model, which is effectively a suite of four of the products that we have with enterprise offerings. And that's a representation of our own cloud journey, right? Like if we were adapting a cloud technology or cloud strategy, what would we need to do that? In fact, through experience, what have we needed through it? So interestingly enough, the official materials include the four enterprise-only products or enterprise offering products, and kind of leave out the open source side, right? So we have our Vagrant, which was popular and got the company off the ground for developers to get VMs up and running. We got the Packer side, which is an image management tool, and is again open source, enterprise free only, but is still really key to a foundation you're going to build in the cloud, right? Then we have the official four-layer model. We have the Terraform product, which is one of our most popular products, in both both an open source offering and the enterprise platform around it, which is also offered as a SaaS, right? Well, whereas we would point and click in a cloud or private vHosting company to get some resources, rather than just do that manually every time, we're going to have to make that repeatable with infrastructure as code, right? So the infrastructure as code and the Terraform in particular become sort of your DNA for your organization. We've gotten an entire cloud wiped out or data center fell off the face of the earth. The good news is we still have that core genetic footprint of the infrastructure as code to start it up again, right? Then once we have that handled in a cloud agnostic way, we can think about securing it. In fact, you'll find that a lot of our products on the journey were actually created on a weekend when it became apparent that if we offer Terraform Cloud as a partner SaaS or a customer SaaS, we have to enable them to store secrets, right? And store them securely in a way that even we can't read them. The only person or entity that can read them is the job or person that needs to see it. So Vault, which started as kind of a feature within Terraform, was obviously repurposed into having its entire product, right? And has now become one of our most successful products. So it was an evolution of infrastructure as code. We find that that contains secrets, and we don't want people committing credentials and critical things to GitHub. And we provide a way to secure that, right? Then once you have this infrastructure and its security, you realize that you need to keep track of it, right? You need to keep track of what people have done and what services, what servers, what resources are provisioned, not just in one cloud, but maybe in many clouds or maybe locally as well. And that's what Consul gives, right? Consul is the service discovery and now, as of recently, mesh networking option as well, so that you can connect everything and keep track of it in the cloud. And a lot of people ask, are these all interdependent? Do I have to have the whole suite? No, right? Each one of them is fairly independent. We have customers that will use one component. The one exception is the Consul bit, where Consul tends to be a storage backend and service discovery for most of our tools. And then if you go a step further, like, well, I'm going to monitor the services that I've got deployed and maybe our brownfield legacy deployments. I'm also going to need to provision a greenfield service, right? Or if I'm going to stand up services on top of my infrastructure and have that automatically registered for service discovery, I'm going to use Nomad for that. Nomad being our not just container orchestrator, but overall scheduler, right? So Nomad can stand up legacy jobs, brownfield, and at the same time, same platform, greenfield containers, and are heterogeneous and hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environment, right? So
Okay.
that is the magic secret sauce, I guess, the icing on the top layer of the cake. And if you ask our executive leadership, what is the cloud operating model? We say you're here in a static data center where things are trusted and things are fixed, and you need to go here where everything is dynamic. And I would go a step further, and one problem with that picture is that sometimes you might need to go back, right? So you need one platform that can manage everything locally or in the cloud and be able to go back when you see fit, right? Anyway, that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Great. No, it's really interesting. It sounds very much like a journey of discovery yourselves as a business.
Yeah,
As these
yeah,
problems came up, one thing at a time is starting on a developer's laptop with Vagrant, and then how do I maybe migrate that into the dev environment on the cloud with Packer, and then let's scale this up for production infrastructure with Terraform and infrastructure as code. Creating your own problems ultimately, creating secret exposure for those platforms, and then things like console and Nomad, ensuring that you're getting the real value on top. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, you mentioned you don't have to be using all of these products. Where typically are your customers in that journey at the moment? So
sure.
For the market, for those people listening out there, do they think, wow, we're nowhere near dynamic secrets for all of our automatically provisioned containers? Where typically are a lot of your customers when they engage with you? What's the first step that they engage with you
Sure.
on?
Sure. To be fair, most of our lead generation interest, are people that come to us and ask about the products have already tried open source, or they've heard about it at an event or meetup or a book or blog post, and they've decided, I want to try this out, right? Terraform and Vault are number 1 and 2 products by interest, right? And interestingly, Terraform is still just a tool, especially open source, right? Terraform is something you run, it does something, and there's a result. And then later you run it again, there's a result. It's not a service that's going to always be running. It's not a critical service as such, right? So that is taken up the most interest in the DevOps community, and you can find a million GitHub examples and code repos where people use Terraform to stand up their code. Now, if people who come to us generally have been introduced by the practitioner, somebody loves the tech, somebody wants to show their management something, and the management says, oh, that's great, I saw you provision some resources, you did it effectively a 5-hour job in 5 minutes. Wait a second, you can suddenly spin up 1,000 Bitcoin miners in our cloud, right? So they quickly realize they need the audit trail and the accountability and the governance layer to be able to say, well, I have, with great power comes great responsibility. I want to be able to control what you can do with this, and have an audit trail so that you can't just cover up your tracks on your MacBook, right? So that tends to be the first contact point with someone seriously looking at Terraform. Now, as far as Vault goes, and there's 2 types of people that come to us from Vault. There's, I've been attacked, or I've been compromised, right? I've failed an audit, right? Or I've got some scary outcome, some scary event that we're not allowed to talk about, and now I need security, I need to have Vault, right? The number 1 security situation, which undesirable situation with DevOps, is to accidentally leak your credentials to GitHub and put them in a repo. Even a private repo, right? Some of your colleagues get to see that. Someone can quickly frame you as a nefarious, right? Now, people try out Vault, they evaluate it, an open source cluster maybe is HA, and they get comfortable with it. Okay, then they say, well, I may or may not need enterprise. And a good majority of the time, somebody who tries open source for a while inevitably hits the either the compromised or lost unsealed keys, right? So they're unsealing with the device or KMS in the cloud. Vault is trusted to use that for its master keys, and that master key gets broken, right? There's no way to access your Vault anymore. It's all your secrets are gone, everything is gone, and you won't be able to reverse engineer that key. And that's why some of our engineers like to say that Vault is booby-trapped in the open source, right? It's not going to provide the DR of recovery for you. So they may have either encountered an issue where they had a failure or problem, or they realize ahead of time that they're going to want to have a backup, live backups in HA, right, for that. So that's who comes to us for enterprise in that time. Also, the large scale customers, people who realize that, okay, I use the open source products, even going into Console and Nomad, but I realize that we're multi-tenant org. We need to have more than just a single group of resources. We're going to need to have a multi-tier approach.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So I totally get people moving to the enterprise versions. That makes sense for me. I think maybe taking it a step back, you know, when we talk about secrets and we talk about credentials, we're not just talking about passwords and logins anymore.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, in the dynamic world, you know, Kubernetes and Nomad and containers and cloud provisioning and all these sorts of things. What else are we talking about?
Oh, okay.
Secrets.
Yeah, sorry if I got ahead a little bit on the enterprise side. If I'm talking about basic functionality, it quickly becomes apparent that when you're dealing with secrets and log aggregation, and you know, people are viewing this constant stream of information from your org, things like passwords, things like TLS certificates, SSH keys, you know, they're long-lived, and it's only a matter of time before someone can compromise them if they're trying, right? So the ultimate solution, and people will ask me, is Vault quantum proof? Can I protect myself against quantum computer attacks, you know, with a Vault cipher? And you know, the answer is no. Nothing is really quantum proof right now. But if the answer is that the variable for someone attacking you is time, and trying out the right combinations, right number of keys to find a way in, the answer is to have as many keys as possible and have them as short-lived as possible. So an application that has been running the same database password in production that's exposed to the internet for 5 years is really the prime candidate for being attacked. Somebody that has that credential knows that it's going to be valid for several more years, right? Because it's not rotated. So the answer, and in fact, if you go a step further and somebody has an audit for some forensic company, one of the big four comes in and says, you've been attacked, let's do an analysis of your logs and your process, and then suddenly you realize, here, a DBA created a password for you. The dev team put it into a config, and then the operations team applied it. Now, 3 people have seen that credential. Who's at fault, right? Everybody's going to point fingers at someone else. And they quickly realize that the way that Vault does it is, you know, the DBA creates a template. Okay, this is the kind of database role I need. Vault will randomly generate that and hand it to the user or application. And then they're the only one that gets to see that, right? So in the end, you want to have as few people see a secret as possible. And Vault does that really well. Not just database credentials, but SSH certificates, TLS, block encryption, block volume encryption keys, things like that. Everything should be short-lived.
Okay, and Vault is automating that just throughout the enterprise, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So it provides the mechanism. You still have to configure it. Some people think that I've installed Vault and I'm safe. Like, no, you still have to use it, right? I suppose that applies to any tool or security platform as well. But yeah.
Cool. Great. Last couple of questions. A bit of a lighter one. Is Vault your favorite product from HashiCorp? Or
I think so. Yeah. I think about this. If anybody asks me my favorite product at HashiCorp, you know, it's funny that there's so much competition in the industry for 3 of our products. Terraform, there's a lot of automation tools that try to be Terraform. Console, service discovery and mesh networking, the industry is taking off. There's a lot of competition for that. Nomad is a job scheduler and orchestrator. There's competition for that. But nobody has even really come close to matching Vault for functionality. It does something that's pretty unique and adds a nice layer of something that's been missing from the industry for a long time, I think. And personally, the use cases our customers come up with are just unheard of, amazing. Like, you never would think that a Vault could be used to encrypt field automation equipment, like factories, you know, things in the field that are not typical use cases for IT, not just a bank or an insurance company or some database, but actually industrial equipment or embedded devices and things that are actually running real factories and affecting everyday people. It's really just the most widespread product. And some of the customers that you can't even speak of are just really impressive use cases and people to meet. So it's really been interesting.
Right, fantastic. Well, I mean, from our side, we love HashiCorp. We partner with you guys. We do training. We do all sorts of stuff with you guys. And we see certainly Vault, Terraform, and Vault everywhere with our customers. So,
Yeah.
John, that's it my side. Thank you very much, everyone else, for joining us. And stay tuned for further interesting industry chats. But John, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, Luke and Nuaware. Talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.